The First Glass Beach album, fittingly titled, well, the First Glass Beach album was an effort by a trio newly based in Los Angeles. This album was quite nuanced and brought together a lot of the confessional and angsty features normally in emo music while also committing to a mixture of maximalist energy. There were tender and climactic prog rock melodies, cutesy and animated indie-tronica highlights, ambient side notes, hints of jazz. Generally, there was an overall sense to take a lot of the main core elements of a genre like Midwest emo and throw all these sonic ideas at the wall to surround it. And fittingly, this led to the album to be considered as a post-emo record. Yo, where my post-emo stands at. All this to say that I generally found a lot appealing with Glass Beach's debut effort. Its quirky appeal carried over a variety of colorful tracks, though I do think this album falls into a trap, and I don't know if this makes sense per se, but I think I appreciated a lot of the charm of the atmosphere and at times vocal and just certain moments a decent amount of the time over the actual quality of the content within. So now fast forward to 2024, in 5 years since their debut, Glass Beach comes back with Plastic Death, and let me tell you one thing. This thing here, kind of rips. Collectively, this album props up all of the prog rock and alt rock magic in that first record and runs rampant with it, featuring 13 tracks that each emotionally feel full and just have mature narratives to them. Each song feels purposeful and not like a leftover piece of Christmas decor in late January. And I don't know if this transition towards maturation comes with the general beat of time or if the band has just escalated in their cohesiveness and willingness to drive for new heights. Whatever it is, obviously, I must commend their efforts all around. Rarely do your sensibilities pick up on the quirky emo-like qualities that were more pronounced in their debut. I'd say the song Puppy is the closest one to breathe similar air to that first record with its bubbly math rock delivery on top of metaphorical verses tying themes of dog ownership to the reliance of one partner to another in a relationship. Puppy, like several other songs throughout, though, shift into these hardcore melodic sequences that just tie up the songs in such a natural, nice, climactic bow. It's chef's kiss. And honestly, it's these moments that bring life to this record and sell me hard on their efforts here. And the biggest and brightest of those moments come from bangers like Motions and Comatose. Now, I've seen a considerable amount of takes that compare Plastic Death to the likes of Radiohead, and I believe most of these are complimentary comparisons, unless you really hate Radiohead or think what Glass Beach is doing here is detracting from their older identity. I, for one, wouldn't say that I ever feel like I'm listening to Radiohead here going through this project, but when you have a vocalist, I guess, with some nasally tendencies, writing puzzling lyrics overhead, maximalist art rock, you can kind of see where one thing would lead to another. To me, it's most prominent on some of the early verses of tracks here, like, for example, the previously mentioned favorite of mine, Motion, a song that is about, quote, chasing success like a ruthless animal, and it packs such a punch in a short time. The moment the guitar's overdrive hits on this semi-aggro chorus here, I mean, just sheer goosebumps. And after comes a dirty, anthemic crescendo that's stickier than my mouth after I consume a little Elmer's glue. Don't ask too much about it, but hints of strings and also horns are used sparingly to swell key moments. Motion's bigger brother, Comatose, and I do believe it's Comatose, otherwise I don't know why it would be Comatose. It's similar in melodic theory to Motions, but takes a whole 10 minutes to entrance you in just its wonder. I love how this track reworks the same guitar melody over and over with a myriad of different approaches that all kind of fall under the same technical palette, and this constant reworking or reshaping fits well under the lyrical narrative of two partners losing a sense of connectedness or willingness to at least hear the other out over time. There's a bittersweet connectivity to the song's structure and progression, and the track officially closes out with like this hollow void of escaping noise. It's like a whisper of a send-off that can perhaps perhaps also be linked to the eventual fallout of this longtime relationship. And this is what Plastic Death does so well, even if I am a bit disconnected on the meaning or intent of a song. The group's demeanor and melodic expression do a lot of the labor to bring you in the right direction. For example, the Springtime acoustic track guitar song is quite enigmatic on paper. Still, it's easy to pick up that it involves a sense of yearning for the truth and dreamlike stakes combined with the backdrop of the music. The playful approach of this track features like these gentle repeated melodies and soft falsetto vocals that naturally shift my brain in just to the right direction. I feel like in this song, reality seems almost too pleasant and carefree to be actually real, but maybe I just need to go to therapy. One track that fell a little short for me is the single CIA. Compared to just the rest of the record, it's a little more blunt and hokey in its presentation. That is until it's like late half hardcore revival. Personally, when I listen to music that scrutinizes like the digital age or like surveillance states, which kind of falls into that, they have to tread a little carefully. Not because I believe like federal agents are listening into everything that we say, so watch out, but simply just because they can come off particularly a little cheesy. The tie-ins here to the CIA potentially referring to an over-surveying partner and asking the question, is your surveillance tenderness on a song here is pretty cool. Still, I just find the band's instrumentations feels at its flattest riding behind some of these lines, and it just loses my overall sense of curiosity. Curiosity is quickly regained with the shifting audible that is the song 200. Singer Jay McClendon even states that the song holds similar themes to that of the CIA, but this time they are layered in with more intriguing writing and musical tension. It begins with what seems to be just a beautiful piano ballad, but of course, come on. We know this thing is just going to naturally transition into some anthemic post-rock. Of course, as you know, it's quite a constant theme on this thing. The best aspects of Plastic Death soak in particular moments while still layering on and on instrumentals that just add these beautiful inflections. The opener is like the groundwork for this, and let me know if I'm saying this wrong. Coelacanth. It has like this effortlessly gliding piano arpeggio at the forefront of its focus, and mixed in or being surrounded by Jay's tender vocal melody as well creates this just nice little trance. Now add some extra rhythm on top and add some extra textures and put them all together, and then later, boom, launch into a hectic guitar riffing frenzy, all while still honing in on this beautiful mood that we are all still captivated by at the beginning of this song. Usually on Plastic Death, we have these bigger, more grandiose moments, and weirdly enough, though, a lot of more down-the-earth songs refer to animals. These are, of course, the songs Rare Animal, Whalefall, and The Killer. Though I will say The Killer eventually does send it to another land of like ethereal strings, comparable in the best ways to like an Algaidas Baiarian by Sigur Rós. Rare Animal has a pocket of nostalgia inside of it that I find pretty nice. I can't listen to this thing without thinking back on old relationships, for better or for worse. And the song Whalefall probably contains within inside of it one of the cooler atmospheres. It does well to capture this scene of like deep underwater climate with these colorful marimba-like notes in its melody. Overall, I found a lot of fascination and appeal in Glass Beach's new extensive effort. Immediately from front listen and until this point now, I could tell how much passion went into the fruitful progression and metaphorical lyrics. And intent is one thing. It's one thing to have a mind of like, you know, I'm going to try and make these more complex art rock compositional pieces, but to sonically pull it off from front to back in a nice variety package is another. And I do think they pull it off here. It's fun, punchy, can be quite intense, but it can also be a bit soft-hearted and at times atmospheric and dejected. Plastic Death has officially confirmed me as a Glass Beach fan, and I hope it does the same for you if you weren't already loving them with the first album. And that one was pretty cool. I think it had cool ideas and interesting sound to it. It's just collectively overall, this is something I'm going to be returning back to quite often. And just some of these tracks just have such momentous energy that might end up as like some of my favorite songs of the year. So for the love of God, please check out Plastic Death. by Glass Beach. I'll put all their socials and information in the description below. And subscribe for more recommendations from me in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave any music recommendations yourself down in the comments below, or any points of criticisms of me as a reviewer or about my take on this album down there as well. I'm just starting to get into the role of things, hopefully, on this channel. So any interesting takes, I will surely appreciate. And as always, I will see you around the pond. See you around the noise pond, baby.